So guys, with the FNCS semifinals and grand finals coming up really soon, in today's video, I just wanted to go over 3 teams that I think all of you guys should be watching this FNCS on NA and EU, considering that those are the 2 best regions. I think that these teams are extremely valuable to watch, not only because the way they play is going to be very effective in this FNCS meta, but also they've been succeeding quite well throughout the season, and generally in the modern day of competitive Fortnite, all of these players have done very well. So be sure to stick around to the end of the video if you guys want to learn the names of all these different players that you need to watch and understand exactly what it is they do well and how you can learn that and implement it into your own game. Let's get right into it. So guys, to start off, I genuinely think that Peterbot and Pollo are one of the best duos in the entire world and honestly of all time. These guys have been popping off so much recently. In terms of their recent placements in FNCS and other tournaments, they got 6th place during week 1 of the FNCS qualifiers, they got 1st place in week 2, and then most recently, a couple of days ago, they won a duo cash cup where in the second round, they got 6 out of 6 wins for their game. That means that they won every single game that they played in the second round of that duo cash cup. Their average kills was over 10, so that means they won every single game with over 10 kills. They ended up winning that tournament with more points than 2nd and 3rd place combined on the NA Central region. Now that is extremely impressive. NA has become a lot better of a region since the merger of NA West and NA East. A lot of the Fortnite community is now arguing that NA is becoming a more competitive region than EU. Peterbot and Pollo took themselves on this region and then they were able to win 6 games of a cash cup. That is almost unheard of, and that might be the best tournament performance of all time. Now in terms of what this duo has truthfully done well in order to actually win those FNCS weeks and win this cash cup, the first thing is that they have very successfully alphaed a POI. Peterbot and Pollo land at Grim Gate. They're going to be getting consistent, really good loot. Obviously, in terms of the mobility and stuff that they have obviously the Cerberus medallion. They have the dash ability, obviously from the water at this POI as well, but that's not even to mention how much good loot this POI has. There's going to be multiple Olympus chests, plenty of slurp barrels and slap barrels to save shield. They're going to be getting tons of med kits. It's going to be a very stacked POI, and the fact that they have this uncontested for a lot of the time, that's very impressive. And even when they're not uncontested, they're able to win off spawn because they know this POI so well and they know how to play it. Overall, the fact that they've alphaed this POI up so well, that just shows how well they've conditioned the NA lobbies. And of course, adding on to that, the mid game and the end game are also Peterbot and Pollo's favorite times to be. What this means is that they're going to be conditioning the NA lobbies during end game as well. This means that they can take high ground whenever they want. That's the majority of the way that they're getting their wins. They could play mid ground, they could play low ground. Nobody is really challenging them during these competitive end games, and I truthfully think that going forward in FNCS, if nobody on NA is going to step up and challenge, contest, and try to really fight this team, I think Peterbot and Pollo can easily run away with this FNCS by a large margin. And even if they are contested and some people try to mess with their game, these guys have shown time and time again, they can win the off-spawn fights, they can win the mid-game fights, they know how to fight, and they have incredible loot and a great game plan. This is by far the most dominant performance I've ever seen from a duo on a region before, and I'm really excited to see how they're going to do going forward in this FNCS. Be sure to watch them. Now the next duo is going to be a switch to EU. This is going to be Pinq and Vico. Now 2 or 3 weeks ago, before the FNCS qualifiers, a lot of people were doubting if Pinq Vico would actually do well in these qualifiers. Now they most definitely did. They won both qualifier finals for each FNCS qualifier 1 and qualifier 2. In my opinion, this team is the best mid-ground duo that we've ever seen. They land a great split drop with a lot of chests located near the Grand Glacier Hotel. They've been landing there pretty much all of Chapter 5. And the really big benefit is that Pinq and Vico are incredible fighters in their own respects. They have very clean gameplay, their mechanics, their rotations, everything they do, including scouting, pathing, everything. It's very textbook and it's very effective. Like I said, they're mid-ground warriors, so they're really good at tarping. They know where they're going, they scout really incredibly, and they know how to play these end games in this meta. However, they can also play height very well. They can also play low ground very well. They're a very well-rounded team, and generally the way that I like to describe them is that they have a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, and pretty much a plan for anything that's going to be happening in the game. These guys are one of the most well-prepared duos in the world. On EU as a region, they're going to be, like I said, landing at a split drop near Grand Glacier Hotel. This guarantees them a lot of chests and a very low likelihood of being griefed by another off-spawn team. It's unlikely that somebody else is going to contest them, considering that their split drop isn't really enough loot for 2 teams. It's unlikely that any team that doesn't know the POI as well as they do is going to beat them in a fight. And like I said, they of course won both qualifiers for FNCS in astonishing fashion. That's extremely impressive because EU, like I said, is the hardest region, and the fact that they were able to win both weeks is absolutely mind-blowing. Going forward, I'd recommend you definitely watch Pinq Vico, learn exactly how they're going to be rotating using this mid-ground layer. Mid-ground, in my opinion, is the most consistent way to place very highly throughout these duo tournaments, and generally tournaments for any competitive event in game mode. So be sure to check them out, understand how they tarp, how they path, how they move. All these things are going to add up and create a very well-rounded game in which they always have backup plans, they know how to execute textbook rotations, and they know how to scout very well. If I were to describe their game plan in one word, I'd describe effective. With that being said, be sure to watch them. And let's move on to the next duo of Setty and Kami. Now, Setty and Kami, in my opinion, are the old reliable team of competitive Fortnite. They have done it all. They've won a trio FNCS. They've won an FNCS LAN. They've been very good throughout history. In my opinion, they are the most consistent duo throughout all of the duo seasons. And if we're bringing in trios as well, I think they may have been one of the most consistent trios with Teak as well. Setty and Kami land at a great drop spot for loot. They land down near the south of the map at the train station and the house split. They can easily have tons of loot to themselves if they're uncontested, and even if they're contested, these guys know exactly how to fight off spawn. They know how to play this drop spot. Setty and Kami are also extremely good at having a very consistent endgame playstyle. They are all-around players. That means that during the endgame, they can play high ground, low ground, and mid ground, and it doesn't matter. They're still going to be doing very consistent things throughout all of these games. In FNCS, they've done quite well. They've come top 50 in FNCS finals both times. So this means that they're going to be doing really well in the semis, they're going to be upper bracket, and they're obviously going to do very well when they qualify through to the grand finals. Another really good thing about this duo, they've been adjusting to the meta and the playstyle of this season very well. At the start of the season, when the DMR playstyle was really up there and really the meta, Setty and Kami were great at this. They would take a DMR, they'd position on high ground in the mid game, get a lot of storm surge tags, and then rotate on towards their end game with tons of surge, not needing to really focus on getting eliminations. Another thing that they were great at, utilizing the mid ground layers with their really good tarping abilities and understanding that placement is key. Yes, eliminations are worth a decent amount of points, however, placement is really what this team focuses on. They're very heavy placement players, and this format and the meta favors that in FNCS and Cash Cups. That means that they try to stay alive for as long as they can throughout the game and get minimal eliminations. However, this is the key to consistency. This is how they've been doing well this whole season. Throughout dual Cash Cups as well, they've been coming top 5 plenty of times, top 10. Whatever they've been doing, it's working, and you guys need to watch them during FNCS in order to learn what it is that Setty and Kami have done throughout their whole competitive career and what they're continuing to do as this season continues and as we get into the FNCS finals. But guys, I truthfully think that if you watch any of these three teams, you're going to learn a ton about how competitive duos works. I really think that these are the best teams to watch. And if you guys agree with me and if you guys watch them, let me know down in the comments. I'm really interested to see what you guys think of these teams and if you're as amazed by them as I am. But that is about it for this video, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.